Hello and welcome. In this episode, I'm showing to you how to program the microcontroller Attiny85 using Arduino UNO board. And as we all know, the Arduino board is based on microcontroller from Atmel family, and there are many microcontrollers for each Arduino board, and they are different in size and different in memory and different in peripherals and features. So we are today see here the Attiny microcontroller and how we can use Arduino UNO board to program it for some reasons. First reason, we are now know that Arduino UNO board can be used as a programmer for different microcontroller chips with different circuits. The second advantage of this project is that you make your project a little bit smaller. It's a smaller footprint. It means that if you use your Arduino code to control a small robot or a small circuit, you don't need all that big Arduino UNO board. You only need a small 8-pin microcontroller, small footprint that you can use it in smaller devices, smaller applications, and it also uses small power. So let's get started. And the third advantage of this application is that you can use your Arduino UNO board in different projects, and you don't need to make it to permanent project if you want, and you cannot use it anymore and you have to buy another one. So you only need to buy this smaller microcontroller for $1 or something and save your Arduino UNO board for prototyping and for learning. That's all the advantages you can say for this project. So let's get started and see the steps in details. I'll leave the steps in the description below, down under the video. So let's see the first step is to install Attiny on Arduino IDE. By default, the Attiny library is not installed on Arduino IDE, but you need to install it. First, you start by downloading the microcontroller Attiny85 library from GitHub website using the Arduino IDE itself. You open File, Preferences, and then you paste the link. I'll give it to you. You paste it right here and click that button, and then you choose that link from GitHub website so you can download the library of Attiny microcontroller. Then you open the board manager. You see that it has downloaded the library right here. It's called Attiny by David Mellis. You press install, and that's it. You have installed the Arduino, the Attiny microcontroller on your Arduino IDE, because it's not installed by default. The second step here is the circuit. The circuit is you need to connect it, but it's so simple, but you need to be cautious a little bit to connect it because you don't need to waste your Arduino. So you only need to install the same circuit right here, and here is the details, and here is a caution about the capacitor that you can use, because you need to install these pins. And here is the data sheet of the microcontroller, all the pins right here. You install this capacitor so that you don't erase the Arduino UNO bootloader by mistake. The circuit is so simple, but you need to be cautious when you connect it. Okay, let's see the next step right here. It's preparing Arduino UNO to be ISP programmer, and that's a simple step. You make it by programming the Arduino UNO with the downloader software, so it can be used as a programmer. You open the sketch from examples Arduino ISP, and you choose Arduino ISP, and then you press upload. When you have pressed upload, now you have uploaded the Arduino ISP programmer into the Arduino UNO board. You have now successfully prepared your Arduino UNO board into a programmer circuit. And now you are making the step of burning the bootloader into the Arduino, into the Attiny85 microcontroller. As we all know, the Arduino is a microcontroller that has built-in bootloader that can connect and communicate with Arduino IDE. So we need to burn that bootloader into the microcontroller Attiny85. As we can see, we choose the processor Attiny85, and we choose this processor, this specific one, Attiny85, and then we choose the board. Of course, here the board, the target board is Attiny85 family, because we need to download that bootloader into that board, so that the microcontroller is here dealt with as an Arduino board from this family. And this, we choose the internal 1 megahertz oscillator, and we choose the programmer Arduino as ISP. Then we press burn bootloader. This step, we are burning the bootloader into the Attiny85 microcontroller using the Arduino UNO board. Here is an error that came when I have been burning the bootloader. Then I check the connections and see the circuit, and it worked correctly and successfully done burning the bootloader. Now we have successfully burned the bootloader into the Attiny85 microcontroller, and it now can be used as Arduino board. Then we need to upload Arduino, any Arduino sketch into that new board from the Attiny85 microcontroller. So we choose a smaller application. Of course, it has smaller memory, so it must has small application. And the Arduino IDE takes care of this memory issue. So when you are making application, the Arduino IDE takes care of the memory and gives you feedback on how many percentage of memory you have used. So we start by burning the sketch from examples, the blink example, to test the Arduino from this family Attiny85 microcontroller, and we then connect a small LED as an application and try to see if it's blinking, and we press upload. Now we have uploaded the blink sketch into the Attiny85 microcontroller, and it's working fine. These are all the steps used to program the microcontroller Attiny85 using Arduino UNO board. I leave the description, all the links down. So if you like this video, please like on YouTube, share and subscribe. I really appreciate your comments and feedback. Thank you and goodbye.